Right, attempt 2. Hopefully we've got the screen showing the right way around this time. Hello everybody, I'm Ian from Bewilderbeast, and today I'll be showing you how to draw a turbo pig. I feel like I should probably say that in a bigger, bolder way, a turbo pig. Anyway, we're all very silly at Bewilderbeast, so hopefully by the end of this video you're going to have a great but pretty silly picture. So pigs, we all kind of like pigs, but they're a bit slow. I think a pig's top speed, I have to admit, I looked it up earlier, it's probably around 11 miles per hour or so. A warthog, I think, could do 15 miles an hour, so that's not bad. But the fastest jet in the world, jet plane, has a top speed of over 4,500 miles per hour, which is a little bit more than 11 miles per hour. So the question today is, the question that's burning in everybody's mind is, what if a pig could go as fast as a jet? Today we're going to find out. So what we're going to need today is a piece of paper, white paper or whatever paper you've got around, and I've just got plain white A4 printer paper, a pencil, one of these, good to go, and a rubber, because we're going to be drawing a bit with the pencil to start with. It's going to look a little bit messy at a few points, but then we're going to rub out a few lines with the rubber and it will sharpen it all up and look pretty good. And a black pen. I've got an artist sketching pen, but you can use whatever you like. Biro, fine liner, felt tip pen, any of that sort of thing. Doesn't really matter. And what we're going to do is draw it in pencil first, go over some of the lines with the black pen, and then once we rub out the remaining pencil lines, we'll have a finished turbo pig ready for you to colour in. Cool. So this sort of pencil will do. I'm going to be using this pencil. It looks like a pen, but it is a pencil. But just so I don't confuse you that I'm drawing in pen, this is a pencil to start with. So awesome, let's get cracking. Okay, so paper at the ready. I've got mine landscape on, and all we're going to do to start with is draw a circle to the left of the page slightly, maybe a little bit bigger than a 50p coin. Doesn't matter if a circle's not perfectly round. Honestly, with this whole picture, doesn't matter if it's a bit wonky or a bit out of shape or anything. I've drawn this 3 times now, and it's come out a different shape, different size, everything, every time. Okay, so there's one circle to get going with, and then the second circle we're going to do is more of a potato size and a potato shape as well, really, quite a bit bigger. And this potato is going to overlap here at the edge of this first circle. Okay, so let's go nice. You can make this as big as you like, leave a bit of room at the top of the page, that's fine, but I'm going to go nice big circle like that. And honestly, don't worry about the proportions or anything like that, this is all just for a bit of fun. Okay, cool. So 50p piece size roughly, larger circle to go. And next up we're going to start drawing on the face. It's going to be the first step, our little piggy head, which is obviously going to be this circle here. So upside down baked bean shape is up next. This is to draw the snout. You're going to go roughly about halfway up the circle, and we're going to go outside the circle to draw it, half in, half out. See what I mean by baked bean shape in a minute. There we go. Weird little bit baked bean. That's going to be our snout, and then we're going to just put a couple of small circles in there so our little piggy can breathe. And oh, I've just moved the page. There we are. So there we are. So hopefully you can breathe well now. And then we're going to draw another baked bean shape, maybe a bit bigger. This one is not going to be overlapping on the outside quite as much, but it doesn't matter if it does, if it goes further or less outside the circle. Let's have this larger baked bean shape, like so. Okay, that's probably about the same size actually, looking at that, but that doesn't matter. Okay, then because we're a bit fancy around here, we're going to go and make it look a little bit 3D. Fancy. Okay, so to make this look 3D, this is going to be our pig's mask. Because if he's flying along at 4,500 miles an hour and he gets something in his eye, that's going to sting a bit. So all we're going to do is at the bottom right of the baked bean shape here, we're just going to draw a little diagonal line, just like so, and come to the top. You're going to go roughly to the middle, and you draw another diagonal line like so. Okay, and then the simple thing is just to join these two lines up. We're going to join them round following the curve of the baked bean we drew a moment ago. So I'm just going to start at the top, coming down and following the curve of this line here, and we're going to join it up. All looks a bit weird at the minute, but don't worry, it'll all come clear in the end. Okay, and then let's make sure the snout joins up to the mask. So if you've got a little gap like I have here between the snout and the mask, just like we drew a diagonal shape, diagonal line a moment ago, do that little diagonal over there. And again, it doesn't matter if the mask is hanging off the edge, that's absolutely fine. Let's give the mask a bit of a rim. So just inside the baked bean shape that you just drew, we're going to go and draw another baked bean shape, but just slightly inside the first one. Okay. If you're just joining us today, hello, I'm Ian from Wildebeest, and today we are drawing a turbo pig. So far we've just done the early pieces of the drawing by drawing one circle, about 50p pence size, and a large potato shape around that, and we're just drawing the snout and the mask. Okay, and if things look a bit messy at the minute, don't worry, because when we go over this with pen at the end, it will be looking good. Now, how about we give him some eyes so we can see where he's going? Alright, nice and easy, wherever you like. Nice big circle within the mask and on the other one, and it's as simple as putting a little dot in one and dot in the other. See where he's going now. How about that? Excellent. Okay, next step. Now if you want, if like me, what I've done, I've drawn this circle maybe a little bit small, but that's fine, it doesn't matter. If you want to make it slightly bigger at this point, that's fine. All you need to do is just see where the line goes there to the middle of his snout. You can just follow that same line round, but just make it a little bit bigger, which is what I'm going to do here. But I'm still going to join it up to the old line that I had. Okay, so you can see there was that line, and I've just made it a little bit bigger. Next up, let's give him a mouth. Let's give him a big cheesy grin. Nice and easy. You can just draw a bit of a, well, bit of a sausage smile here. Pardon the pun, I guess. So, how about that? He's looking happy already, but it looks a bit weird without any teeth. So let's give him some teeth. Nice easy way to do that. A line right through the middle of that sausage shape, and then just do a straight line coming down. And now here's one happy piggy. Awesome. Okay, next, so he's got, what has he got? He's got a sense of sight, he can smell, he can taste and speak and shout and squeal. Let's give him some hearing. So he's going to need an ear. The other, well, he needs two ears, but the other ears are on the other side. So to draw the ear, just come up roughly in line with sort of halfway through the mask, the goggles that you drew earlier. And we're just going to come down in a sort of curved V shape, and we're going to go outside his head. So we're going to overlap the head, okay, like so. And then when we get to roughly in line with where we started the line, we're just going to come across and join it up to the top of the head, okay. And again, this looks a little bit messy at the minute, but later when we rub it out, it's going to be looking good. Something that when I drew this before I forgot was to make sure these goggles stay on. So let's draw a strap on his goggles to make sure they stay on. Absolute doddle. Starting at the goggles, one line across to the ear, and then the next line underneath, strapped on tight. Perfect. Okay, so we've got a pig with a head. That's a strong start. Now let's move on to the body. So we've got our nice big potato shape here. Let's give him some legs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll come down to roughly about here on your pig. On mine it's a couple of centimeters down, but it might vary depending on how big your piggy is. And we're just going to do a W shape. So come down for the W, up, down and up. Okay, see what I mean? And then the next leg, so that leg is going to be on the far side of the pig. This next leg is going to be on the side facing us, because remember we're making this picture a little bit 3D to make it a bit cooler. So this time the W is going to be a little bit bigger than the last one, a little bit longer. Okay, to make our hoof and our leg. Cool, okay, so we've got two legs there. The one closest to us, or the second one we've drawn, is a bit bigger. And we'll just give him some hooves for his trotters by just drawing a line across and a line across there. Easy. Okay. Whilst we're here, if you want to, or just help us remind us a bit later, we can see we've got this line coming here. Now we won't want this line later, so if you want now, just so we don't forget and go over it later, you can just rub out that line a little bit. You don't have to, but sometimes I find it easier just to remind me later. Don't draw over there. Okay. Alright, back legs. This is slightly different. Piggies, being the heavy animals that they are, biggest one in the world, over a ton, so pretty heavy, have got big back legs, big thighs. So to do this bit, we're going to draw another sort of rough circle shape, and we're going to start it about halfway up our potato sort of shape here, so about half the height. That's going to be the top. Okay, so starting here, I'm just going to draw a bit of a circle coming round, and it's going to overlap here at the bottom of the pig. That's absolutely fine. It's going to overlap round, and I guess it's more of an oval shape slightly. It's going to come slightly outside this back of the pig, like so. Okay, so that's overlapping at the minute. Again, all looks a bit funny at the minute. Don't worry, we'll sort it out later. Okay, so let's give that. This is a leg on the front side, on the pig, on the side of the pig facing us. Going to give him his little W leg and hoof. So I'd say come to roughly in the middle. Let's go for a reasonably big W here, and just connect it up to where that leg goes round. Okay. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 legs. Could probably do with a fourth. So the fourth leg is actually going to go in this little gap here, because this leg is actually his leg on the far side from us. So remember, it's going to be slightly smaller than this leg. We're going to do another W. Anywhere in there is absolutely fine. Anywhere you like. That's perfect. Don't forget to give him the little hoof type bits for his trotters. That's looking pretty good. Excellent. Alright, fun bit next. Curly tail. We all need a curly tail in our lives. I keep mine tucked under me most of the time, but every now and again, fun to get it out. So, here we go. Nice and easy. Just come up just above where this line intersects. We're just going to do a spiral. You can make this curly tail as big as you like. If you want to go mad, give it another curl. You do another one if you want. So that's a crazy curly tail. And then if you want to make it look a little bit sort of more realistic and wider, just go slightly above where you started. Another curl, and just follow the curls that you just did. I've probably gone a bit crazy with that tail, but that's alright. This pig's a bit crazy, so that's fine. Okay, next. Right, we've got a pig. He can go 11 miles an hour. That's not bad. That's a 7-minute mile. If it was running a marathon, don't know how long he could keep that up for. He's looking a bit chubby for that, maybe, to keep up for too long, but we'll see. But we want him to go 4,500 miles an hour. So let's start drawing the jet engine. Okay, so the best way to start with this is we're going to draw a box. We're going to draw a rectangle shape. And you're going to start one line of the rectangle coming down roughly where the edge of the pig's ear is. And again, this is all going to look a little bit messy at first, but that's fine. Now, if you want to make an even bigger jet engine, draw the box even bigger. So you'll see the size of box that I'm going for. You can make yours bigger, you make it a bit smaller if you want a bit more of a jet pack than a jet engine. And we're going to draw our second line. I think I'm going to put my second line roughly, let's say in line with where the tail starts. Okay, hopefully you can all see that. And then we're going to draw a line across to connect, and a line across to connect. And now we've got what looks like a weird rectangle. It looks like this pig's carrying a box. Not for long. Okay, so next step is to come over to this side of the box and just come down slightly from the top of the box. I'm coming down probably about 1 centimetre. You can come down a little bit more if you want, or a little bit less, whatever suits, and just mark a bit of a line. Come up from the bottom and mark a bit of a line. Again, it's about 1 centimetre or so. Okay, and then we're going from the top left-hand corner of the box to that line at the top that we just marked. So that's going to be a diagonal line coming across. Don't worry if it's not perfectly straight. My line's a bit wonky. Doesn't really matter. Same from the bottom. We're going to go from the bottom left corner up to the line that we marked over there. All these lines are all going to intersect and crisscross and go over each other. Doesn't matter. Excellent. Looking good. Speaking of jet engines, apparently, I'm taking this as true, that pigs' squeals are 130 decibels, which is 10 decibels more than a jet engine. So out of the two of these, the pig's going to be louder. Who would have thought? Not me, but there we are. Okay, next bit. We've got kind of a rough shape there. Next bit, so let's not confuse ourselves too much. If you've got your rubber to hand, we're just going to rub out the little line at the top there, at the top of the box. Don't worry about rubbing it out perfectly. It's just to make our lives a little bit easier when we do some of the next bits. And rub out the bottom straight line a little bit. Don't worry if you rub out other parts of your pig. I'm not going to rub out all of this perfectly. It's just a bit of a help later on. Okay, cool. So we're moving over to the left-hand side of this weird sort of tapered box shape. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw an oval. So we're going to start at the very top, and we're going to draw an long thin oval coming down to the bottom, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. I find it easiest to go from the top to the bottom. You might be somebody who has absolutely mad skills who can just do a nice big sweep round, but that's fine. Okay, excellent. I'm sure there's plenty of engineers out there at the minute who are saying on no way does this look like a jet engine, but just you wait, guys, just you wait. Okay, and then at the back we're going to do much the same, but this time we're not going to do an oval on this side. We're only going to do half the oval, which is this half at the back. And this, by doing this, it's going to help us with making this little piggy look a bit 3D. All right, piece of cake. Right, next one. Let's give the front of the jet engine, let's give another sort of line coming down. We're going to follow the curve of this part of the oval that we just drew, but we're going to come over to the right slightly. You can make it as thin or as thick as you like. I'm about 1/2 centimetre over, but it really doesn't matter. And we're just going to come down to the bottom. Again, don't worry if it's a bit wonky, if you go over lines, if you make a mess. No bother. Okay. Then let's see about doing a smaller oval within this larger oval. Okay. So, I'm just going to put the pencil out there a bit. This smaller oval just comes on the inside of there and down like so. Okay, it's looking good. And then in the middle of the jet engine, I'm sure somebody knows exactly what this is called. I'm going to call it a central spoke. Definitely not the real word for it, but that I'll have to do for now. You're going to draw a weird sideways egg. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a sec. This sideways even, egg is going to come out, and it's going to overlap this line, overlap that line, and it's going to point out the top and come back in. So you'll see what I mean here. We're going to start where this part of the oval is, this inner oval, about halfway up, and it's going to be a nice weird big egg shape like that. Okay, so all the air is going to come in here, go through into the, well, I'm sure engineers know exactly what's going on, combustion engine, yada yada yada, and then we're going to get a nice big exhaust out the back. But for now, we've got that weird little thing there, and whilst we're here, actually, come to the where this weird egg shape meets this inner oval, and we'll just do a straight line, straight diagonal line or two, out to there, and one to there. You could put more in if you like. I'm just going to put 2 on there, and then I'm going to do the same at the bottom, so where the egg shape meets that part of the oval. Again, I'm just going to do a nice little diagonal line. I've only got 2. You could have 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you like. All right, cool. So let's move to the back of the jet engine now. And like we did this little sort of rim following the curve of that oval, we're going to do the same here. We're going to follow the curve of this oval, but we're going to be slightly to the left of it. And we're going to go from the top, follow the curve down, and there you go, absolute doddle. All right, so whilst we're here, jet engine is starting to take a little bit of shape now. One slight problem, if it fires up now, it's going to fly off the pig, and this pig ain't going anywhere fast. So let's strap him on. Okay, let's make it strapped on with a nice big strap that's going to go all the way around the pig and the jet engine all in one. And because we're making this look a little bit 3D, what we're going to do is, like we followed the curve of the line there and there, we're just going to, this is a big cylinder basically, so when the strap goes over it, it's going to cling tight to the cylinder. So let's draw a little bit of a curve to start with, and then we get to about halfway across there. We're just going to come straight down, and you can, I would suggest putting this roughly halfway along your jet engine so that it's going to come down the middle of the pig, hold under the pig's tummy. I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom. Don't worry if you can't do the line in one big long straight line, just do it in bits like I am. And then when we get near the bottom, again the pig's quite round, or if your pig looks anything like mine it is, and so we're going to curve it under his belly. Okay, so a little bit of a curve to the left, under the belly, perfect. And then to make the strap look a bit thicker, we're going to come a little bit to the right, following the line, basically just following exactly the same line we did just a minute ago, but just slightly to the right. Curve, 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 get about halfway there, and then straight down, and come down, and down. God, it's a long way down, isn't it? Right, and then towards the bottom, curving under his belly. Perfect, look at that, marvellous. Okay, now if you've got your rubber to hand again, this would be a great time to crack it out, because I have in the past forgotten to do this and it looks a bit silly. So take your rubber, don't worry if you rub out the strap, nobody's worried about that, me least of all. You're just going to rub out a couple of those lines. You maybe can't see it whilst my hand's in the way, but you'll see what I mean. So basically I've just rubbed out that bit and that bit there, and that will remind me, because I'm a bit thick, to not go over that line a bit later. Okay, great. Now let's add a bit of an exhaust on. So we're back on the jet engine. Up to the top, we're going to draw a diagonal line coming. I'd come slightly down from the bottom, from the top of the jet engine at the back here, and draw a diagonal line just coming up a bit like that, and the opposite diagonal line coming down at the bottom. Marvellous. Okay, now like we did a curve round there, we're going to do a curve round here. So if it's helpful for you, you can draw a line going straight down, if that helps you just with your oval shape, and then you're just going to draw one half of the oval like that. Perfect. Starting to look all right. Okay, we're just going to throw in a bit of detail, because why not? We're just going to do a couple of stripes going across. Look at that, piece of cake. No worries, you can do as many as you like. See how you get on. Okay, time for a bit more detail on this jet engine. How about some big jet engine rivets to keep it on? So coming over to the left of your jet engine, we've got this strip coming down here. Just draw a few small circles. I would suggest if you're building a jet engine, you probably put on more rivets than I'm about to. But we don't want to make it look too complicated. So I've just done 4. You can put on more, you can put on less or fewer if you like. And then let's put in some funky air vents as well. So in order to put in these air vents, let's just go roughly in line with where we put the rivets. And we'll draw just a sideways sausage shape. Shouldn't mention sausages around this pig, but there we are, too late now. And we'll put them roughly in line with each of these. There we are. 4 funky air vents. Cool. Now it's a bit of a sort of straight cylinder at the minute, which is fine, but it's great we've got it looking sort of 3D towards the back there and here. So let's give it some other little touches. Oh, let's put some rivets on the back. So because the back's slightly smaller than the front, maybe put one or two fewer, 1, 2 less. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3. Cool, okay, and what else should we do? Okay, let's put a fin. You might have seen on sort of rockets, where rockets have got sort of fins on the bottom of their rockets to help stabilize them and make them more streamlined, aerodynamic. They probably do a whole load of other things that I don't know about, but I'm an artist, not a rocket scientist, so there we are. But let's give this guy one because it's going to look cool. So it's going to look a bit like a shark fin, at least the one I'm going to draw. And I'm going to start a little bit to the right of this strap. I'm just going to do a bit of a curve up there. Easy. All right. Do a curve up there, and then, I mean, you can just do a straight line down if you want, or if you want to get a bit fancy, why not do a little bit of a curve like that? How about that? That looks cool. All right. Let's give it some totally made up, totally not scientific fuel hoses, fuel pipe sort of things as well. So what we're going to do here is going to draw a small little oval, rough oval shape there. Don't worry about the shape, it's absolutely fine. Roughly circular, oval, anything like that, absolutely fine. And we're going to draw one on the top of this sort of exhaust bit we're drawing here as well. Now we're going to join the two with a sort of rainbow shape. So I'm just curving up and over like that, and then coming to the right hand side of this oval, doing the same again, and it kind of looks a bit like a sort of pipe now. Okay, and then you might want to add, let's add a few lines across here to show that it's probably made from some like serious mesh pipe with sort of ribs to it to make it extra strong and who knows what. Okay, it basically looks good, doesn't it? Okay, and we're going to do a similar thing on the bottom, but instead of putting another oval over here, we're actually going to have this pipe start on the front where we can see it, and it's going to come under, and it's going to, you won't be able to see it, but it's actually going to plug in on the far side on the back. So to do that, we're going to draw a little oval, rough oval shape here like we did a moment ago, and we're just going to mark a little line there, a little line there. Those two marks are roughly the same width as that oval, and then we're going to take a sort of smiley face shape across, and we can join that to the top mark, and the next one is going to join up to the other mark. All right, and again, let's throw on some lines on there. Okay. Ah, marvelous, great. Okay, so we've got the jet engine, we've got the pig, but he's not going anywhere because he's got no flames, he's got no fire coming out the back. Let's get some flames. So coming out to the back of the exhaust here, as well, the flames come firing out. It's going to get up to speed. So let's start by just, like we drew a diagonal line here earlier, we're going to come slightly down from the top of the exhaust, draw a bit of a diagonal line. Same on the bottom. I'm going to come up slightly from the bottom. I'm going to draw a bit of a diagonal line. Cool. And then, depending on how far you want the flames to come out, or depending on how big your bit of paper is, my bit of paper, as you can see, is getting towards the end there a bit. So I'm just going to come roughly halfway between these 2 points. I'm going to mark a little point there. That's just going to help me in a second. And then I'm going to come out. I think I'm going to come out to roughly here. You can come out as far as you like, or as far as you've got paper space, that's fine. And I'm going to mark another little point. So you see that point, this point here, is roughly in line with this one that I drew there. Okay? And then all I'm going to do is join the bottom diagonal line up to there, and the top diagonal line down. So we've kind of got a bit of a, I guess it's a weird sort of diamond shape coming out the back at the minute. Doesn't really look like flames. Yeah, not that impressive, is it? But this next bit, we're going to get hot. Okay, so we're going to add some zigzags down. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the top here where this diagonal line finishes and the downward diagonal line starts, and we're going to put some zigzags in. So I'm going to zig down, and then I'm going to zig, sorry, my mistake, I zigged down. I'm going to zag across until I hit this line. So I'm now going to zag across, I'm going to zig down, zag across, I'm pretty sure that's a technical term, I was definitely taught that, zig down, and then I'm sort of getting near the middle here, so I'm just going to zag right to that point. Whoopa! Nice, okay. And we're going to do the same on the bottom. So we're going to, I'm pretty sure it's to the zig, we're going to zig up a little bit. We're going to zag across. We're going to zig up, zag across. We're going to zig up, and again, I'm sort of getting roughly near the middle. Final zag is a big one. Nice. Okay. Now it's starting to look a bit like flames. Doesn't look like very hot flames though. Hot flames have got different colours. They sort of orange on the outside, then maybe yellow in the middle, and then maybe they get even white hot in the very middle. So hopefully you're all sort of keeping up with that. If you're sort of joining us now, where have you been? But welcome. This is Bewilderbeast. I'm Ian from Bewilderbeast, and you can probably see on the screen by now that we're drawing a turbo pig, the fastest pig in the west, east, and wherever else you go to. So we're getting through it. Don't worry if you just come in now, because this will be recorded and you can watch it back to your heart's content. And at the minute, we're drawing some fire. Okay, so let's make these flames out the back make them a little bit hotter. So we're just going to come down a little bit, and we're going to follow the zigs and the zags that we drew before, but just slightly inside from where we drew. You'll see what I mean here. I'm slightly below, and I'm just following those zigs and zags. And again, when I get near the middle, this time I'm not going to go all the way to the point, because I'm keeping inside the middle. I'm just going to go, I don't know, roughly to there, say. And then I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to follow, which one was that? That was a zag, wasn't it? So we're going to zig up. I'm going to zag across. And we're going to zig up again. Zag across. One more. And then final zag, just for luck. Whew. Lovely job. Okay, now it's looking good. I mean, if you, I don't normally do this bit, but let's go crazy. Let's draw another one inside this one. So you can see that we're probably going to only do a tiny little zag before we have to zig down, and then we carry across, and then we go. Oh, look at that! I mean, this pig is going to be screaming fast. This is going to be a fantastic one. Okay, look at that! Great, awesome! Fire, fire, fire out the back. Let's give it a bit of smoke. Easy way to draw smoke. The closer you are to the flame, the more the closer the smoke will be in. This big smoke cloud coming out the back. So, and then the further we get away from this flame, the bigger the smoke's going to come out. Nice easy way to draw it is humps. That's right, humps. So I'm going to start here, and you can make these humps different sizes, or they are little humps like that. When we're on the top side of the flame out the back, we'll do another little hump there. You can throw in as many as you like. You do a big one, overlap it with a small one, and you see that I'm just getting sort of further away. You throw in some in the middle here. Oh, it's looking good, marvelous. Okay, so we've done a few there. Maybe we'll chuck in a couple more here. Oh, perfect. Okay, and then we can do the same on the bottom, but we're not doing humps this time. I wouldn't call them bumps either. They're sort of upside down smiley face bits. You'll see what I mean here. So don't worry, it doesn't need to match up exactly. It doesn't need to be symmetrical. The less symmetrical, the better, in fact, because when smoke sort of flares out and everything, it's all a bit random and looks a bit weird and unexpected. Oh, marvellous. Look at that. Great. This, you can tell this pig, okay, he might not be very good for the environment with all the smoke coming out the back, but he is quick. You've got to give him that. Okay. What do we call those little dips? And I think that'll do. That looks like a lot of smoke going there. So we've got a pig. He's got his flying goggles on. He's going fast. He's got a jet engine, but we're not done yet. So get rid of this pencil. Pick up your pen. I have an artist sketching pen. That's just because it's nice and black and will show up well on the camera. You can use a biro, felt tip pen, fine liner, any sort of black pen is good. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go round some of the lines that we've drawn and not round others. So you pay attention closely, because then the lines that we haven't gone round, we're going to rub out later. And that's going to leave us with a really cool 3D looking picture. All right, so let's start where we started before, on the face. Let's get this turbo pig looking good. Okay, so let's start with the snout. All you can do is draw around that baked bean shape of the snout. Follow that all the way around. Perfect. Don't forget to draw in his nostrils, otherwise he can't breathe. Which is tricky for everyone. Alright, cool. And we're going to do, now if you've got a particularly thick pen, you see where we've drawn this rim round the goggles here. What I'd recommend is just doing one line round. If you've got a thinner pen like I have, then we're going to be doing 2 lines round. Thick pen might just be a bit thick to get the detail on this, but it doesn't matter, it'll still look great. So I'm going to go around the outside baked bean shape that we drew earlier first. And I'm just going to follow that round. Top tip, now is the perfect time, if like me you've done some really shaky lines at various points, this is an absolute cracker for covering up those shaky lines. So now is a good opportunity to smooth out some of the lines that you did earlier, or if you made a mistake or something, don't worry about it, because you're not going to see it once we've rubbed out all the bad bits. Okay. Now I'm going to go, because I've got a fairly thin pen, I'm going to go around the inside of that baked bean shape to give us the rim of the flying goggles. And don't worry, this is all going to look quite messy until we rub some bits out later. Okay, let's do the 3D bit. So remember earlier we drew a little diagonal line across here, and we drew a little diagonal line across the top. We're going to trace those, and then we're going to follow that bit that we traced around, that we drew earlier. We're just going to trace that edge of the mask, like so. Don't forget to give him the little strap that we drew in, because I have gotten to do that in the past, and when he flew off, mask just came straight off. It was an absolute nightmare. And let's draw in his eyes, like so. Nice and easy. Don't forget to give him the little dot for the pupil. Oh, he's looking better already. Okay, let's go round, and what we're going to do is we're going to come under his chin, past his mouth, under his chin, up round the side of his head, and we're going to stop when we get to this ear. In fact, let's make it easier. Let's draw the ear in now, then it'll be easier for us to see where to stop. So coming up to the top of the ear here, where the goggles come on, your sort of U shape or V shape coming down, and then we're going to join it onto the head, up to the goggles. Cool, nice big flappy ear for him. Marvellous. All right, now we're going to come round and we're going to stop when we get to that ear, okay? So I'm just going to follow the outside of this circle. Take your time. No hurry. Well, I mean, he's in a hurry, but we're not. And then we're going to draw the mouth. So we're just going to go round, trace the outside of that sort of sausage shape that we drew earlier, and give him his teeth with a line through the middle, a line down, nice big cheesy grin. And now here, if you remember earlier, I mentioned about rubbing out a little bit of the leg. This is just to help remind us where to start and stop with some of the drawing of the legs, because two of these legs are on the side of the pig facing us, and two of the legs are on the other side of the pig. Okay, so we're going to start where the body meets the underside of his chin, and we're going to come down. Now you're going to get to this first leg, don't worry, breeze right on by it, and then stop when we get to that second leg. Okay, trace the W shape you drew earlier. That's one. Don't forget to give him the little trotter. I would do a pig impression at some point, but I fear I may blow out the microphone, so I'll save that for when I see you all in person. Now we're going to draw the second W, coming down and up and down, and there we are. Perfect. You see what I mean? That means we don't have like a weird line in between there. Draw that little trotter on. I should say as well, don't worry if this guy crashes. He's a trained pilot, and if he does crash, they'll just call the ambulance for him. Hey? Nobody? No? Okay, never mind. I mean, it was worth okay. Never mind. Okay, we're going to carry on drawing the belly right across there, and we are going to go right past that leg, and we're going to stop when we get to this big circle. Okay, this is going to be an interesting bit, because that top bit of the circle we drew earlier, forget it. We don't need it. So we're going to start about halfway down this part of the thigh. We're going to start there, and then we're going to follow that line down to show that he's got nice big chunky thighs. And then we're going to draw the W for his leg, and then we're going to follow the outside of the circle until we meet just under the tail. Okay, follow that up and round. Cracking work. Don't forget to give him the little trotter. Oink oink. Okay, and then we've still got this leg to draw. You can just trace that back leg with that little W shape and the little trotter. Perfect, coming together. Okay, you may have gone as crazy as I did with my curly tail. You may have gone less crazy. I'm going to continue the crazy. But all we're going to do here, you can spend ages on the tail, make it look all perfect and everything, but I'm just going to go for it. So I'm just going to go like I did before, spiral, I'm going to go another spiral, I'm going to another spiral, and a flick on the end. Wonderful. And then again, I'm just going to follow round. Oh, spiral round, and a spiral round, and a flick on the end. I mean, that is one springy tail. Looking good. Okay. Now, you see that little bit of the box we rubbed out earlier? This is why I wanted you to rub it out. It just helps to not confuse me really. I'm a bit dim, so anything to reduce the confusion of my life is all well and good and much appreciated. So we're going to come from the bottom of the jet engine here, and we're just going to follow that line around the pig's back till it meets up with the tail. Okay, and then on the opposite side there's a little bit here, and we're just going to follow that line till it meets up with the jet engine. Okay, now the jet engine itself, let's work on this side of the jet to start with. Okay, just like we did earlier. So we are going to in fact, Yeah, let's do that. So let's draw the outside this oval to start with, but we're not going to go over this weird egg-shaped bit. So we're going to start here at just where this line meets the egg, okay? And I'm just going to directly trace that oval shape. Easy peasy. All right, I'm tracing it all the way around. Take your time. And as we come up, we're going to stop when we get to the egg again. So we're going to stop there, okay? Because we're going to draw this egg next, okay? So tracing the egg, the sideways egg, who knows why it's on its side, but it is. Aerodynamics. I'm just going to trace that like so, okay, cool. And what we're going to do later is we're going to be rubbing out those little lines in there. And this will make a lot more sense when we get to that. So inside this inside oval, again, we're going to start where the egg meets that oval and end, well, where it ends. So follow that round, all the way around. Marvellous. Oh man, this pig's going to go so fast. Okay. And then we're going to do these lines up here. Just trace them. I'm going to call them sort of fan blades within the jet engine. I should really get my jet engine terminology sorted out. I mean, all the engineers that see this are just going to be screaming at the screen as to what on earth is going on about. None of these are real terms, but you know what I mean. All right, now we're going to do the outside of the jet engine. We're going to start here, and remember earlier we rubbed out a couple of these lines here. This is why, because in the past I've gone straight the way across and gone, there is a strap in the way. So stop when you get to the strap. Okay, I'm just going to come straight across. I'm going to stop when I get to the strap. Pick up that line again, the far side of the strap. I'm going to stop when I get to this little weird hose thing. Okay, and then pick it up the far side of the hose. And then we've got this curved line around here. So I find it easiest to start at the top and come down to join up. But if you find it easier to draw up, that's fine, whatever suits you. So I'm just going to draw that little bit of line there, and then I'm going to follow the curve that we drew earlier. Round down to the bottom. Looking good. And now I'm going to go right to the top and draw the top. Now this time I don't need to stop at the strap because the strap goes right over the top of the jet engine. So I can just go straight across. Oh, how about that? Don't worry if you need to go across in a few bits. That's absolutely fine. What should we do? In fact, whilst we're talking about the strap, let's get that one done. So you can just trace this. Absolute doddle. Remember, we've got a bit of a curve to start with. You get about halfway down, and then you can just go straighter all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. Remember, you start to curve it round a bit towards the bottom. That'll be fine. And then the other line. What could be simpler? Draw a stickman could be simpler, but that's not as fun as a turbo pig. All the way down and under. My pen's a little bit blotchy, so apologies for that. I'm sure you're doing a very nice, neat job yourselves, so keep it up. And then we're going to trace a few of these lines, so we're going to draw that curved line here. And I'm just going to trace that round. Whoop, bit of a dodgy line there, but never mind. And let's put the rivets on. Don't want the end falling off, that would be embarrassing. Particularly embarrassing when you're going at several thousand miles an hour. I mean, awkward, doesn't come close to it. And let's draw these vents in, these weird little sausage shaped vents. I should really stop saying sausages. This is no good for a pig to hear me saying sausages, but there we are. Wonderful. Look at that. Looking cool. How about the fin? Let's get this fin. So you can just trace the fin line you drew earlier. We're getting there now, guys. You've been doing very well. If you're keeping up, fantastic effort. If you are just seeing what's going on now, just see what this is all about. And you see we're most of the way through a turbo pig. This is Ian from Bewilderbeast. and we're drawing a turbo pig today. This will all be recorded so you can watch it again at your leisure, and any bits you missed or any bits I went too fast on, feel free to watch it back and go over those bits till you get yourself a brilliant turbo pig. Alright, let's draw these hoses next. So we drew those little ovals before. Well, we want the bottom of the oval there and the bottom of the oval there. We don't want the top of the oval. So I'm just going to draw the bottom part there and the bottom of that oval there, and then I'm just going to trace these pipe lines up and out. There's one, and there's two. See, I can count. And we'll put some lines across. Now, this is if you want to be really fancy. If you want to be really fancy, you can make these lines. You see, we've got that curve at the bottom. Just because we're making this, slightly 3D, giving a little bit of extra dimension and element to it. You can do these lines a little bit curved, because it'll just make it look like the actual pipe is round and is a curved pipe. And then when you get towards the top here, towards the middle, give it a straight one, and then you curve it the other way as it comes down the other side. You don't have to do that. That is by no means necessary. You can just do straight lines and it'll still look great. Let's do the other pipe. So we've drawn that oval there. This time we just want the top of the oval, not the bottom, okay? And then you see it joins in on the back. We're just going to follow that pipe line down. Whoa, yeah. And the second one. And there we go. Perfect. And let's do the curved lines again. I'm going to go curved again. So this time the curves are going to be sort of smiley face shaped almost. And they're going to be curved right the way along. Oh yeah, looking good. Perfect. Alright. Well, I've noticed we've done the rim at this end, but we haven't done the rim at this end. So we better just do that. Just trace this rim line we've drawn here. All the way down. Corker. Don't forget the rivets. It's all very well not having the front fall off, but having the back fall off is just as embarrassing. Okay, now we're on to the exhaust. We're getting there. We're very nearly there now, actually. Well done if you've stuck it this far. You've been doing brilliantly, and I really look forward to seeing everybody's pictures at the end. So please do tag a photo of your picture, your finished picture, at Bewilderbeast on at Bewilderbeast Art on Facebook, and at Bewilderbeast on Instagram. If you're more comfortable with using Instagram, tag of photos. We'd love to see it, particularly a coloured in one. If you've got some colouring pens, cracking. So I'm just going to draw this exhaust here. I'm going to do the line at the top as well, and then we're going to do this curved line down and round. Marvellous. We've got these stripes. You can just trace those stripes we did across earlier. No matter how many you did, whether you did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't count any higher than that, but so I'll stop at 8. And now the exhaust. We've got our zigs and our zags. Just trace those zigs and zags. Doddle, absolute doddle. This is going to be a cracker. Remember to come all the way to the point. And also, I've got to say, don't worry if your zigs and your zags aren't symmetrical on either side. Really doesn't matter. In fact, I think it looks cooler if they're not. So just, if one side's bigger than the other, if some bits are pointier than the other, doesn't matter. Just have fun. It's about having fun, drawing stupid things. Okay. Cool, so we've got that. Now follow these zigs and zags on the inside. And the idea will be, you can then colour this in afterwards. And you can, you don't even have to colour in the flame orange and red and those sort of things. You can colour in light blue, dark blue and turquoise if you want. It doesn't matter. I don't know what your pig's jet engine will be powered by, but it'll be something pretty impressive, I'm sure. Probably go even faster. Okay. And then I'm just doing the, what was that? That was a zig. I'm going to do a zag, and a zig, and a zag. Mini zig? No, that's a mini zag, isn't it? That's a zig. That's a zag. Zig. Zag. Oh, phenomenal. And now, just got a bit of smoke to do billowing out the back. So we can just trace some of these little, what do we call these little smiley faces? Smiley face shapes without the dots. Remember, some bigger than others, some overlapping, some in the middle of the smoke cloud. Just gives the impression of being a whole load of energy coming out the back of that jet engine. And we'll do the top, we'll do these humps, these bumps at the top. Don't worry if I'm going too fast for you on this bit. I'm just doing this reasonably fast so that you can see what it's going to look like. You can absolutely take your time doing this bit, and I'm sure you're all going to be drawing brilliant smoke coming out the back of your jet engine for your turbo pig. And then one more, and then so we've got all of that bit. Now, depending on how brave you are, you can either do this straight in pen, this next bit, or if you want to, I would maybe suggest picking up your pencil, and we're going to put some speed lines on. So to do that, to make it look like our pig's really absolutely caning it, we're just going to draw some speed lines, and all you need to do with that is just literally, whoosh, that's one line, and then draw another one fairly close to it. You can put one down here, maybe a couple here, whew, maybe one at the bottom of the hoof sort of direction, and maybe start partway along there. And another little tip to make it look like they're sort of like he's really moving is just do a couple of little sort of, I don't know what you call that, sort of bracket shapes. You maybe do a bigger one there. Let's chuck in a couple here, and maybe two here. That pig has got some serious speed. Okay, then you can take your pen and you can just trace those lines. Don't worry if you don't go over them exactly. And something else which, if you're feeling confident enough or you want to give it a go, the quicker you go with your pen, the more the line sort of gets thin, then thicker, then thinner again, and it sort of tapers off. You see what I mean? Tapers off, and that again just creates the impression of speed a little bit. So it starts quite thick at the start, and as I get quicker, it gets thinner. So quite thick and thinner, quite thick, thinner. Don't worry if they're not straight, doesn't matter. The pig's probably not flying straight, so don't worry about that. And then just do these nice and quick, these little sort of bracket shapes. You can throw in ones wherever you like. You can do one there. Put a couple in there. Doesn't matter if you don't trace them exactly. Okay. Final stage, guys. Final stage. The next bit. So you've drawn it. You've gone over it in. You've drawn it in pencil. Gone over it in pen. Now we went over some lines and not others. Get your trusty rubber. Start rubbing out over your pig. Get rid of all those weird lines that are making a mess of your picture. Keep rubbing out, and you will find revealed underneath the most turbo pig you've ever seen. My hand's a bit in the way, don't worry about that. Keep rubbing out, rub out all those random little pencil lines that we use to help us sort of draw the different shapes. Sorry if my screen's shaking a little bit, the camera's attached to the desk that I'm rubbing on, so probably a little bit of shake, rattle and roll, as they say. I don't know who says that, I've never heard anyone say that actually, but there we are. So the more you rub out of some of those lines, the clearer it will be. As you can see, I've drawn quite hard for the video, so it doesn't rub out perfectly, but there we have a turbo pig. Oh, in fact, guys, I've got one big mistake. Don't forget to connect up that line with your pen. Oh dear, nearly had part of his face fall off. Anyway, there we go. That is a turbo pig. I'll prove it because I'm going to write turbo pig at the bottom, which, that means it's real. Turbo pig. Give him a name. Maddie did this the other day and she called him Terry the turbo pig. Let me know what name do you call your turbo pig. How about that? Fantastic. Love a silly name. So what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this. Oh, what about Tinkerbell the Turbo Pig? I'm not really sure where that came from, but it's too late now. I've said it. Tinkerbell the Turbo Pig. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to be upset at that. I'm a bit upset at that, but that's fine. Okay, great. Well done. Well, thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really hope you like your drawing. You can now take your picture away, colour it in, and what would make me happier than a pig with a bucket full of turnips would be if you shared a picture of the pig you drew by tagging @BeWildebeestArt on Facebook or @BeWildebeest on Instagram. I would love to see your finished pictures. And if you enjoyed today, then please let your friends and family know that there will be another drawing tutorial next week where I haven't 100% decided, but I reckon roller skating goats could feature pretty heavily. So yeah, we'll see about that. So yeah, if you don't already follow our page on Facebook, please do. Again, it's Wildebeest @BeWildebeestArt, and that'll mean that you'll be able to see when we put up the next drawing tutorial, and you can watch this one back and all the rest of it. So thanks very much, everybody. Hope you have a marvellous day, and remember, show us the pictures of your turbo pigs. I really want to see them. All right, nice one. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.